Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I am Summer. I post all things like self-love, relationship, confidence, advice. But today we're going to be talking about long-distance relationships. And if you're new to my channel, then you've obviously never seen Stanley, but Stanley's my boyfriend, and we have been dating for around like 3 years now. And so for 3 school years, we were long distance. And I never believed in long distance relationships, honestly. I was in the same boat probably as most people in the world. When I was in high school, I thought long distance relationships were so stupid. I was like, come on, you can't date someone around you. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of people all around you and none of those are good enough. Like, you have to date someone miles and miles away. Like, I honestly thought people were just dramatic and like, I just didn't believe in it, you know? And then I started messaging Stanley. If you guys don't know how we met, we do have a whole video where we do like a Q&A, and it's on my channel. But basically, I found him on Instagram, and people always think like that either of us had like a lot of followers and that's like how we met, but we actually didn't. When I first started talking to Stanley, I had like just started doing social media. Like, I just started my fitness account. I probably had like 1,000 followers, and Stanley did too. Stanley had like a few thousand followers. So when we first started talking, I actually just randomly found him in a comment section, and I did know that he lived in Ohio, and I just started messaging him and we started talking, and obviously now that's all in the past. But so all of the time that I was in college, we were long distance. And now that I've been in a long distance relationship, and now that I've known Stanley, I like really obviously believe in it because it did work for us. And I think that the biggest thing that people don't talk about with long distance relationships is when you're in a long distance relationship, if it doesn't work out, it's not going to work out for the same reasons that a regular relationship wouldn't work out for. Just in a long distance relationship, you realize that sooner, and that's what people don't talk about. Like, in a long distance relationship, what are reasons you'd break up? Lack of communication, jealousy, trust issues, one person's putting in more effort than the other. Like, and that's the same thing that would happen when you're in a normal relationship. Just when you're long distance, you see that way faster because you're not with the person every day. You're not seeing them every day. There's no like physical like touch that can make anything better, or things in person that can make the situation better. You have to deal with it all like virtually most of the time. And so I was honestly in a really lucky situation, and a lot of people know this, but my mom is a flight attendant, and so I basically could fly whenever I want. And so that's what Stanley and I did for a majority of the time. And so, but what that came with was I literally every single school year had to adjust my schedule, so I didn't have class on Mondays and Fridays. So I would make all my classes all of college, literally besides one semester, my first semester of college, but we hadn't started dating until October, my first semester. So all the semesters I had my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that I would be able to go see Stanley like on the weekends I wanted to go see him. And I would say like the first half of college, I literally went like every 2 or 3 weeks. Like that was like probably how often I went. But literally my last semester of school, I had like a way lighter schedule, and I would basically go see him like every weekend. And so I would see him all the time, and that was a very lucky situation I was in. However, obviously I know that most people don't have a situation like that, but regardless, the longest Stanley and I went without seeing each other was 3 months. So there was one period of time where we did not see each other for 3 months. And I would say that never in those 3 months did I think, oh, like, I don't want to do this isn't gonna work out. Like, if you would have told me that I couldn't see Stanley for a whole year, I wouldn't have seen him for a year, and everything would have been fine and we would have continued to date. So I think that's the question you have to ask yourself is like, if I knew I couldn't see this person for a whole year, would I still want to date them? And if the answer is yes, then like, why wouldn't you do long distance? I just think that like people are never really in love with someone, and that's why they're like, I could never do long distance. But when you're actually in love with someone, it's like just the inconvenience of it. It's like, yeah, it's unfortunate that we live in different states or that maybe you're in different countries, but you know, we love each other, and so that little inconvenience is not going to stop us from being together. And that's kind of what changed my mindset too. It's like, Stanley and I never once were like, oh yeah, we're gonna break up because we're long distance. Like, it was never a conversation. We just knew that it would be over like once I graduated, and that's kind of just what always kept us going. And so I think that's the biggest thing when you're doing long distance, is you have to know when the long distance is going to end. You have to have a plan, and if you don't have a plan, then that is a big reason that your relationship probably won't work out. Another thing that you have to do is you really just have to know for a fact, like 100% fact, that say if the person you are dating, say if your boyfriend went to Miami with all of his guy friends, you would have to have like 100% confidence, like I know for a fact, I would bet my life on it, that he wouldn't cheat on me. And if you don't have that kind of confidence in your relationship, it's another reason that it's not going to work out. You have to know for a fact that they're loyal, that they love you so much that they would never do something like that to you. And if you don't have that kind of relationship and you don't have that kind of love, then your relationship isn't going to work out. But again, both of these reasons that I just listed, like that's reasons that a regular relationship wouldn't work out. If you guys don't have plans of like getting married and one person does and one person doesn't, or one person wants kids and one person doesn't, you're going to end up breaking up. And then what I just said, like if you don't trust your partner, you're eventually going to break up. It's just when you're long distance, again, all these things come out sooner. The next thing again is communication. Obviously when you're long distance, you can't actually talk to the person in person every day. So what do? Texting, calling, FaceTiming, all of that. If one person wants to call you and text you all the time and the other person doesn't, then yeah, the relationship isn't going to work out. But again, if you in real life have two different communication styles, or where one person wants to constantly call and text and the other person doesn't, it's not going to work out. And I think again, just when you really love someone, you want to talk to them as much as you can, and you want to be with them as much as you can, and all of that. And so when you really love someone, again, the fact that you're long distance doesn't change the fact that you love the person and you want to talk to them. Like you're going to want to call them, you're going to want to FaceTime them and text them. Now, another thing that really helps with long distance is knowing the next time you're going to see the person. So Stanley and I always had a plan of the next time we were going to see each other, and we'd kind of have like a little countdown of when we were going to see the next person. And if you don't do this, I think it makes it way harder. And I know that a lot of times in situations you can't do that because you're in a situation where you don't know the next time you're going to see the person, and that really stinks. And there was times where Stanley and I like didn't know the next time we were going to see each other, and that did make it like way harder. But I think if you can, you should try to plan a time that you're going to see each other in person. Or if you really can't do that, like there's no way that you're able to do that, you should plan like virtual times that you're going to spend talking to each other, whether that's a call, FaceTime, anything. Like plan those times out. Like maybe it's every night at 8 p.m. you're going to sit and call each other. Having those planned times out where you're going to talk to each other, that's going to help you so much. Another way long distance relationships don't work out is just having different priorities. Like when you are saying to someone that you're in a long distance relationship with, oh, I'm just too busy, like I can't talk to you, then you're never too busy to talk to someone that you really want to talk to. Like, are you too busy, or just would you rather go hang out with your friends, go play ball with them, whatever it may be? And again, this is the same thing that would happen if you were in a regular relationship. Nobody is ever too busy for what they choose to make time for. If you're telling someone you're too busy to do something, it's because you simply do not want to see them. If they wanted to talk to you, they would make time to talk to you. If someone wanted to see you, they'd make time to see you. And so again, in long distance, you just recognize this sooner, because when you're missing someone and when you're not seeing someone in person, all you guys have is talking over the phone. All you guys have is that trust you've built with each other. And so it's really hard when someone's not communicating with you. And so that's like the biggest thing to do in long distance. Stanley and I were always long distance, but we would live together for like summers, and then I would leave and go to school. And that would be like the hardest thing ever, was when we had been together for like 3 months and then I would have to leave. That would be like gut-wrenching. Like that time after where it feels so hard, it's like that's when like you really need the person. Or just different times in your life when you're feeling down, it's like you really need the person and you need them to be there for you, even if it's virtually. And that's what a relationship is. You have to be there for each other whether or not it's in person. I feel like I was in a really lucky situation because Stanley is just a very like loyal person and really never did anything at all that I ever thought like would lead me to not trust him, or like think in my head that our relationship was jeopardized. But I know that a lot of people are not in those situations when they are in relationships and they are like, they're dating a guy that say like has a really good girlfriend, or they're dating a guy that just has guy friends that are really like always want to go to bars and always want to go out and always want to like be with other girls, like going out with them. And Stanley like just never was like that, and he has really good friends, and his friends are all like really good guys, and I know them all, and so that made it way easier for me. But if you are dating someone that say has guy friends like that, or really acts like that, like goes out to bars all the time, like I think it would make it way harder, because it is, even if no matter how much you trust someone, it is hard to see your boyfriend in like Snapchats when he's out with a bunch of his guy friends that are single, and like a bunch of single girls are there. Like that is really just awkward and hard. And I know that in a lot of situations, a lot of those guys are good guys, and they just do happen to have guy friends that are single. And what do single guys do? They want to go out and they want to talk to girls. But I will say that a lot of times in relationships like this, you are a product of your friends. And so if his friends aren't just like going out and flirting with girls, because like that's one thing. If they're actually, you think, like crappy guys where they like play girls, they ghost them, you hear all the terrible things they do to them, it's like I would take that as a red flag, and that your relationship might not work out, because you are a result, like you are a product of the people you surround yourself with most. And again, I know that that is circumstantial, I know that that's not everybody, and I know that you could give me a million stories of people that you know that just have friends that are like that, but they're actually not like that, and I believe you. But I'm saying that you know, if you're thinking, is this a red flag? And I think that anything is a red flag if your boyfriend gives you a reason for it to be a red flag. Like if you find out that, you know, he was chatting it up with a girl that night, even if you know they didn't do anything, it's like, I don't know, I think that anything is a red flag if someone makes it to be a red flag. I think that trust can be broken very easily. It doesn't take much, and you just have to sort of be aware if you're dating someone that has friends like that, because those friends might have, like, you know, being single as their best interest, and they want their friend to be single with them. Like, just some guys are like that. So just, you know, I would say if you don't know his friends, meet his friends and try to get to know them, because I know that if I were in a situation where my boyfriend had a bunch of guy friends that were like that, like I really would trust my boyfriend, honestly. Like I know that he wouldn't do anything, but I would hate that. Like I would hate to know that he was going out with a bunch of people that were like that, just because it's an annoying situation to be in. And I can totally feel for any girl that's going through that. Like if your boyfriend isn't giving you a reason to trust him, like that's really hard when you're long distance. Now, I know I just listed a bunch of reasons why your long distance relationship wouldn't work out, but I'm honestly hoping that this reassures you that your relationship will work out. Like plan times that you're going to see each other, plan an end time in mind, like when are we going to move in together, have common goals, like constantly communicate, talk to each other on the phone, FaceTime each other, be really open and communicative about where you're going and where you're going to be and who you're hanging out with. Just being really open and honest and communicating, that's all going to just help you so much when you're long distance. And knowing where you're going to see each other and all the things I listed, that's really going to help you. And I'm just saying that if you're not doing these things and you're thinking, is long distance for me, then I'm just telling you, like, it might not be. Like, I know it's not for everybody. And it's like, why waste your time and the money on going to see the person and all of this when you're not putting in equal effort? My phone just overheated, but basically don't put in the time and effort to go out of your way to try to make a relationship work that clearly the feelings are not reciprocated and the energy is not reciprocated. You are worth so much more than that, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and let me know what you want to see next, and let me know if you're in a long distance relationship or your opinions on it. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.